Hi, I'm Justin Hicks. Today we're in the SMAT film room. Today we're going to be answering questions for y'all's endorsements for next year.
Hi, I'm Traci from the Education Pathway.
And I'm Sierra from the Education Pathway as well.
I'm Daisy from the Culinary Pathway.
I'm Rahino from the Culinary Pathway.
I'm Tyler from the Law Enforcement Pathway.
I'm Megan from the CNA program.
I'm Rafia from the CNA program.
I'm Caleb from the Ag Pathway.
I'm Maggie from the Arts Pathway.
I'm Kaylin from the Fine Arts Pathway.
And I'm Mackenzie from the Graphic Design Pathway.
All right, today we have a few questions we're going to answer. First question is, what if you're interested in taking two different pathways? Yes, you can take two different pathways depending on your scheduling. In the film class, will they teach you how to edit and do the film and video and stuff like that? Yes, it's hands-on learning. You learn everything hands-on from coach or from supervisors such as me, but I won't be here next year, so you'll have some older people helping you as well. What do you have to do to be in RoarTV? First, you have to take Principles of AV Tech. That's the basics of AV graphic and design for animation. It's for also graphic design and stuff like that. Then it goes on to AV 1. AV Productions 1 for the video editing. AV Productions 2 for the RoarTV, which is what I do currently. And then the AV Practicum, which is the Twitch, the YouTube, and the athletic filming for people who like to watch and go watch football, soccer, baseball, and all sorts of things like that. Do you have to have any specific qualifications for any class? Yes, you have to take AV Principles before you can go anywhere else from there. In SMAT, do you learn everything that we were shown? Yes, you were shown. It's just depending on your skill set, and you have to put effort into what you're doing, or you won't make it.
Okay. The first question for the Education Pathway is if the class is a whole year or half a year. You'll take it for the whole year, so both semesters, and then if you take it for your whole high school career, it'll be 4 years. And then, will the class give you scholarships? Yes, if you go to your counselor and apply for them, you will get scholarships, and just apply at your college you want to go to. And then the next one is they asked about we help with the special needs kids, and yes, we do help them. We help them at the track meet that they do, and then we go to the state fair with them, Special Olympics, all that stuff. And we just encourage them and be a friend to them.
Okay, some more questions about the Education Pathway is, to become a teacher, do you have to take the classes given? Yes, you do. From your freshman all the way to from the freshman year all the way to your senior year, you'll have electives like set up for you, and you have to take those. And then, how many years do you have to go to college, and what colleges could you attend? Typically, any college has the education major, so whichever one you like. And then it's about 4 years. And then, is the teaching program fun? Yes, it's really fun, and you can make new friends and create good memories with them. So, yeah.
Okay, the first question we got for the CNA program is, if you can't get into Health Science 1 your freshman year, can you do 2 classes the next year? And the answer is yes. Ideally, your pathway will be Health Science 1, Health Science 2, Anatomy and Physiology, and then the CNA program. But if for some reason you aren't able to get into Health Science 1 your freshman year, you can take Health Science 1 and 2 sophomore year and so on with those classes in that schedule. And then what are credits for, and do you get paid if you're a nurse assistant? Credits are something you need to graduate. You get a certain amount for every class that you do. And for the CNA class, you'll get 2 credits for the whole year. And if you choose to be in the CNA class, you can get your 16-hour certificate and apply to work in a nursing home, like as a CNA. But it will be during school since you're still working. You don't have your certificate yet, but you have like your 16 hours of work done, so you could work, but you're not officially a CNA yet. And how much experience would you get while being in the CNA program? We get a lot of hands-on experience, not only at school when we work with each other and with our dummy. We also get to go to the nursing home in Forney and get hands-on experience with the residents there. Is there any college credits you can get if you want to be in the medical field besides doing CNA? As of right now, there is no other dual credit medical class. It's only CNA, and then the other class you could choose is medical assistant, but it's not dual credit. If you're in the nursing class, do you get a tuition for college? As of right now, the school pays for the CNA class because it is through TVCC, but tuition is something that like you get from the school. Like, you have to pay for it to pay to be in the class. So in the future, the school might decide that the students should pay for the CNA class. So it all just depends on whatever the school decides. This person asks, if you want to be an occupational therapist, would it be a good idea to take the nursing class? In my opinion, I think the CNA would be a really good choice so that you can get all that hands-on experience. But if you want more terminology, specific detail, stuff like that, the medical assistant class would be better. Do we offer a psychology class? We do not offer a psychology class right now, not specifically. I would still recommend going through the health medical pathway, whichever class you choose to take. I do believe TVCC offers psychology, but you can always talk to your counselor about that with what you want to do. And if you want to be a nurse, but later you want to decide to be a lawyer, would you be able to change your class? Yes and no. It kind of depends on how far into the school years that you get. It'd be better to decide as soon as possible, like freshman, sophomore year, so that you can change your classes and get all your credits in, rather than junior, senior year. So just try and decide early.
To follow up on our questions, this person asked, what do y'all do in this class most of the time, and what do you like about it? In the CNA program, we take notes, obviously. We watch videos, practice skills, and go to the nursing home for experience. And I enjoyed the practice we get at the nursing home and the hospital. If you complete your assignments, and if you turn in your stuff on time, then the class isn't really hard at all. What classes do you need to take to be in the nursing field? Your freshman year, you need to take Health Science 1, and then your sophomore year, you need to take Health Science 2, and then your junior year, you need to take Anatomy and Physiology, and then your senior year, you can get into the CNA program. Are there any other medical elective? There's a medical assistant class, and then this person asked, medical/doctoring course, do you go over mental things, like how the brain works? Well, we go, not too into depth, but we talk about, the brain's functions and stuff. This person asked, what's the best class to take if you want to be a pediatrician? Well, I want to go into the pediatrician pathway and stuff in college, so I would suggest you should take the class so you can get hands-on experience and interact with people.
The first question with the ag pathway is, do we get to interact with some of the animals? Yes, you do get to interact with the animals, even if you don't show any animals. Each week, maybe once or twice a week, the teachers do take students to the barn, and you get to see and interact with some of the animals at the barn. This person asked what class would be convenient for agriculture. Well, your freshman year, you have to take the principals class, and then from there you can choose livestock, you can choose shop, or you can choose the vet class. The last question is, someone asked, can animals feel your emotions? I don't think they can feel my emotions, but I think animals do have emotions, so.
How long do you have to go to school to be a vet? You have a total of 7 to 9 years, but vet school is only 4 years. Another person asked, is it expensive to be an ag? It really just depends on what part you do. If you're showing, yes, it's going to be expensive, but not really if you're just in the classes. It's not expensive. The courses you need to take to become a vet, you have to take your principals class your freshman year, and then your junior and senior year you take the vet med and vet practicum classes. For welding, do you get jobs or can you apply for jobs outside of school? You can't get a job while in school, but you can get certified before you graduate. And in ag, do I get to bring my own dog? Yes, in some of the vet classes you do get to bring your own animals in certain cases. So, yeah.
So I was asked, I want to be a hairstylist, so what would be good for me? And can you just be someone who does paint and makeup for the plays? So you can interview for tech to be on the varsity or the junior varsity program, but you do have to get through the interviews as if it were a job, or you can just do Tech 1, which is just painting, but in order to do hairstyling and makeup, you would have to make the team. Do tennis and theater conflict? Theater has a 50-50 rule if you dedicate half of your time to theater and half of your time to other programs. But varsity theater does have one act practice Monday through Thursday until 5 o'clock, and if that's too much time, you can't commit, you can do junior varsity, which doesn't dedicate any time after school. Do we get to learn how to play piano and guitar? You have to do 1 year of band first, and then you can try out for jazz band in order to learn those. Can you get a scholarship from doing theater? If so, how long do you have to be in theater to get a scholarship? There's no current scholarship through the high school or locally, but you can go to scholarship.com and look up any scholarships for something you want to major in, and it'll show you all the requirements. That's it.
Alright, so this person asked, when being in culinary, do you cook your first year or just learn all year? You get to learn the first 3 months, and then after that, you get to cook small snacks or just make something small, not that big because it's your first year. But like in your second, third, fourth year, you get to cook a lot. Maybe your fourth is the most you get to cook this practicum year. And this person asked, do y'all get to cook often in the kitchen? Yes, you do get to cook often, and if you don't do your work, you don't get to cook at all. And this person asked, in culinary, do we get to eat the food we make? Yes, you get to eat everything you make except the food for coffee shop, and that's because we sell that food to pay for all the stuff we get to cook with. And this person asked, for cooking class, is there ever going to be events where you have to compete to see who makes the best food? For me, it's always a competition, but that's what everybody thinks. So you have to see who makes the best food.
The first question is the cooking class hard to get into during your freshman year? It all depends about your schedule and the counselors. You have to go talk to them. It's not really difficult. Like, you just gotta try in that class. And the question is culinary arts 1 semester or 2? Every semester you have to be in that class to move forward, and that's basically it.
I had law enforcement, and the first question is, even though I didn't reach the law enforcement introduction at the tour, I want to learn more about it and what classes to take. So law enforcement is, as of now, a 3-year program, and they haven't reached the 4th yet because it's fairly new. So the first year you take Principles of Law, which is just basics for the course, and you just learn about whatever is a prerequisite for taking the next classes. Then your sophomore year is a dual credit through TVCC, which is free. And this first semester you take corrections, and then the second you take ethics. And then the third year you actually have an internship to where you go off and go work at any law enforcement place within Kaufman County, which will be really fun. And then the next question is, are we going to have the same elective throughout the year, like throughout all of high school? Like, you won't take the same course. You won't keep on taking each class over and over again, because that's what the question said, but you'll take the same guideline pathway, so just as what I went over last question. And what exactly do you do in criminal justice and law class? So for different years, you learned about different things. The first year is the Constitution and amendments. The second year is what it takes to be in corrections. And then the second semester of the second year, it's the philosophical elements of law. And then the last year, you just work for a Department of Criminal Justice. How much credits is in the law enforcement class? So for the first year, you get 1 credit per semester. And then the dual credit years, you get 3 hours per semester towards college. Do you take law class at a school year and a law endorsement? You take 1 freshman year, and then for the rest of high school, you take it through dual credit. What are the classes you take for criminal justice elective? And sorry, I already went over that. If you're trying to be a criminal lawyer, would you learn about just that, or do you also have to learn about what the other different types of lawyers do? So it's mostly criminal law within the corrections pathway, but it also has other aspects of law. It's really useful for any justice department. If I want to be a lawyer, do I have to learn all of the amendments? Not for the class. You'll only need to learn the Bill of Rights, some of the Constitution, and major Supreme Court cases. But once you start studying for law school, then you'll need to know the amendments. What are corrections and what do they do? In law enforcement, will y'all teach us how to be a lawyer? They're required points, credits for you to graduate, so you need 26 to graduate. And you'll learn more about law enforcement and how to be a lawyer, and it'll advance each year. Is it hard to learn what you have to do in order to be a lawyer? It's not hard if you're interested. It'll be easy if you just do your work and keep on task. Is it going to be easy being a freshman? You'll just need to get a hang of things. It gets easier as the years goes on. Does the law enforcement class teach you how to be a great homicide detective? It goes to the basics of homicide cases. You'll learn more about that in college. And in the that was a culinary class question as well. Even though I didn't reach the law enforcement things, I want to learn more about. That's the same question over. I'm gonna need to cut that. Sorry.
Okay, so my first question is, do you have to be good at drawing to be a graphic designer? You don't necessarily have to be good at drawing, but it is very helpful to get the hang of things if you are really good at drawing. Would graphic design help me if I want to be an architect? Yes, it would help you learn the designing process of being an architect. And if you're very flexible throughout the years, you can learn multiple things for being an architect. In graphic design, can you make more than one shirt for your friends? Yes, you're allowed to make multiple shirts at once. This one is, in theater, what do you have to be good at or no? In theater, just you have to be good at performing and not being shy and being really flexible. What are other art choices other than graphic design? Well, there's animation you can take. There is art 1 and 2, and then there's digital media that you can take. Can we make custom and made stuff in graphic design? And can the animation class be useful for game art? You can make your own shirts and your own products with your own design, as long as you buy the materials that you need. In the animation class, it can be helpful for game art. You'll learn how to build on the apps. Can you get any scholarships out of graphic design? I'm not really sure, but like Kaylin said, if you go on scholarships.com, I'm sure there's a list of whether or not you can. How many courses like education, graphic design can you get in? For graphic design, you can get into 4. You have your art 1 and 2, your graphic design, and then your graphic advanced, and then your practicum. Are we allowed to print shirts out in graphic design if we're not in that class? That's all up to Miss James, the teacher. And usually if you're not in the class, she won't, but on certain occasions you can. Do you have to be in robotics to be in engineering? You can take engineering without being in robotics. And that's it.
Alright, so I have some of the generic questions, and I'm going to ask the questions, and one of these people are going to answer it. If you're put in a class and you don't like it, can you change it?
Yes.
It just depends on your schedule, though, if it's like flexible or not.
Okay. This says, what are all the electives that can do competitions? Well, I have the answer for that because there's a lot of them. Graphic design does competition with robotics, and robotics. Debate, theater, ag, education, cooking, SMAT, and animation. All of these endorsements do some sort of competition. How do you get dual credit classes, and is double... Okay, block bad. Sorry for... Why am I reading that? Okay, so can you get dual credit classes, and what does the double block mean?
You can start dual credit classes your junior year with like the basics of like English and history. And double blocking isn't necessarily bad. It's just kind of a second option if you don't get the class that you ideally wanted the first time. So you have to take it like for the first time later in your high school career with the next class in that pathway.
So can you switch classes if you do not like them?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so how many electives can we have?
It's about 1 to 3, basing on like what year of high school you're in, and if you do sports and any other extra activities.
Same question. Okay, that's it. All right. Thank y'all for coming and visiting us today, and here's all your questions. Y'all ready?
Yeah.
Let's go. Oh!
I was like, are we gonna throw him?